Welcome to Top Sports Talk, presented to you by Top Sports News. I am your host, Caleb Jenneret. Next to me is the famous Isaac Deer. Isaac, how you
Well,
doing?
I'm doing all right. I don't know about all that. I've had a couple tweets do some numbers, but other than that, not a superstar status like you are. You
Oh,
got the
please.
check mark. You are got the good picture going. I still have yet to go get any kind of professional picture taken because this is me. This is my personality.
There you
I'm
go.
not.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
No, no. If I have to get dressed up, I will. Just know I hate it, but
Mm.
that's just me.
Speaking of, man, you just reminded me. I actually had a story to tell you.
Ooh,
Not a story, but a quick little thing. So, you mentioned checkmark, and I know you're a big wrestling fan, big WWE
oh yeah,
fan.
oh yeah.
I got a follow on Twitter today. Random, out of the blue.
Mm.
John Cena followed me on Twitter today randomly. And this is a real guy, verified and everything.
Did you follow him
13.
first?
No, I don't even follow him. Just got to follow. He must be a fan of our show. That's probably what it is. He's a fan of Top Sports Talk and he wanted to know more. So he followed me to keep up with all the updates, as everybody watching this should do. Follow me and follow Isaac on Twitter. But yeah,
Man,
no, just wanted to get that out there.
I followed Jonathan Cena's whole life work, and I follow the man on Twitter. I can't get a follow back. I follow this man's life work from his debut on SmackDown with the light blue long shorts to jean shorts. You can't see me. Attitude Era. John Cena, the Doctor of Thugonomics. John Cena. Oh, wow, that's actually really impressive. I know he didn't follow anybody for a really long time, and then all of a sudden, I don't even know how many people he follows, but
Follows a lot of people. He does
it's
follow a lot of
impressive
people.
that you made the list though.
I
That's
know it. I know it's
he
weird.
can see you. He can see
Yeah,
you.
you can
You just
see
can't see
me.
him.
I
Yeah,
can't see him. That's why I haven't followed him back yet because
yeah.
because
You
I
don't know
can't.
where to go.
I don't know where he is.
Yeah, don't know
But
where to
yeah.
go.
So let's
I
get into our
follow.
sponsors before we get into a little fun episode. So wanted to shout out the TSN ticker first. We have it on the website. Always fun to use. Always put in your scores. Not as many scores to put in going down the stretch, but it's always still fun. I'm sure. I'm. I don't know this for sure, but I'm sure you can put in other sports scores too. It's not just for football. So we're going to be using it throughout the year. So, and then always thank our gold sponsor, Invista Credit Union and Family Guidance Center for continuing to sponsor Top Sports News. But last week was Halloween, right? Now Halloween's over. It's in the past. We are into officially Thanksgiving season, full of food. So to start it off with the first November episode of the year, we will be ranking our top 3 Thanksgiving sides before we get into the sports because it's just so important and because there's not a lot of sports to talk about. So we're getting into it. No turkey, no ham, no pies, just the side dishes. Okay, so Isaac, it is my understanding that you have an honorable mention. So I'll let you go first.
Yes, and I think you do as well. I'll throw
Mm-hmm.
my honorable mention out there. Corn casserole is always a solid. Uh oh.
What
Oh no,
the
I saw
heck?
that.
All right, no, keep going,
That
keep going.
is corn casserole. I have just on the outside looking in because I think the other three that I have are just a little more valuable. But I think the corn casserole is so close. It can never go wrong. I think the sides are always better than the whole than the like the entree itself, like the turkey or the ham or whatever. The sides always kind of make or break Thanksgiving. And but that's my honorable mention. I can't wait to figure out what the face was for. I'm excited.
Yeah,
I wonder if that's like your number one or something, but
no, definitely not my number one. It's I don't even have it on here. It wasn't even a thought in my mind. If I saw corn casserole sitting on the counter, I'm not even trying it. No, no, not a chance. Just not a fan. Not a fan of the corn itself. But no, my honorable mention, it's kind of a staple. And I feel like you have this in your top 3, and you're gonna be really upset with me. But I have mashed potatoes as my honorable mention. It's it's such a staple, but it's so hit and miss. There's good mashed potatoes, and then sometimes they're not mashed enough, and there's just like chunks in there, and that's not what I'm trying to roll. So mashed potatoes, although they're good, you put some gravy on there. White gravy, better. I like white gravy better. You put that on the mashed potatoes. It's okay. It's good. But it's a staple. So I had to put it in my honorable mentions, even though it's not my favorite.
Wouldn't even have cracked my top 20. But on to the next one, number three. Number three, I guess we can backtrack a little bit. Probably wouldn't be on my top 20. I kind of like with tomatoes and ketchup. It's like I love the ketchup, I love the salsa. Not a big fan of the tomato. With mashed potatoes, it's interesting because your wide variety of potato stuff. You got your French fries, you got your tater tots. By the way, what's worse for me personally than mashed potatoes is sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes
Yeah, unless
are
it's in a pie, I'm not a fan of sweet potatoes.
those top 100 Thanksgiving sides. It'd be 101 for me. I can't do the sweet potatoes. Um, but it's a widely popular within my family. I don't know why everybody loves sweet potatoes around me. That's their thing, not mine. Yams, not for me. Just marshmallows in general, not a huge fan. But we'll get to the top three. Let's get to the
Mhm.
good stuff. Let's get to the
There you go.
real.
There you go.
Let's get
Let's
to
be
the gold
positive.
mine. Yeah, let's get to the gold mine of our
Okay.
Thanksgiving sides.
Okay.
Number three, not popular, but I'm not a man for popular. I'm just me. 100% authentic Isaac chooses stuffing as number three. Good old stuffing. I don't know what you could put gravy on it. You could have it by itself. Um, I'm always game for some stuffing. It's like for me personally, uh, you can't really have a bad stuffing. I haven't ran across a bad one in my life, and I know a lot of the foods that I eat because obviously, a fat man and Thanksgiving it just goes together so perfect. So stuffing just stuffed me full of that thing. It is gonna be my number three. Um, Definitely corn casserole is right here, but stuffing's just a little bit above.
Mhm.
So I gotta go
Fair
with
enough. Fair enough. So for my number three is another. You mentioned you can't go wrong with stuffing. This is one you cannot go wrong with. No matter what you do, whether you make them from scratch, whether you get them pre-made, whether you just warm them up in the microwave, it doesn't matter. They are always good. You don't even have to put anything on them. Some people think I'm weird because usually I don't put anything on this. I just eat it straight, and people think it's a little weird. I got rolls. Rolls is my number three. It's just a staple. You can never go wrong. I could eat 4 rolls and not even blink an eye. I love rolls, especially. I know we're talking about Thanksgiving, but when you go to a restaurant and they have bread in front of you, oh my gosh, just rolls every time. So yeah,
it.
rolls. It's just so good, and it's just so easy to just enjoy. So rolls is my number three.
That is a very solid pick. It didn't crack my top three. It would crack my top five. I definitely would have it in the top five because it's really good. Hot roll, man.
Mm.
Slap some butter on that. Side note before we get into number two, or side question, I guess. Texas Roadhouse rolls or Red Lobster biscuits. What are you going? Mine's easy.
Are you counting the butter with the roll, the honey butter?
Yeah, we can count that.
I would still have to go with Red Lobster. I'm a big fan of cheese, so those cheddar biscuits are just different. Those are
Yeah.
different.
Yeah, I not a very popular food take guy. Really not cheddar biscuits. Sorry, don't throw the biscuits at me, but no, no. I don't know what it
Really?
is, man. They're just chalkboard. I mean, I feel like I'm just eating chalk. I can't do it. It's super dry. I don't know.
Fair.
Dip them in some
Fair.
water, but it'll be fine. But my number two um is good on any holiday. It's not Thanksgiving based. Um, it's got enough quality in it. The more you put in it, the better it gets. But you don't have to put too much in it. I'm gonna go mac and cheese. It's my number two. Um, I don't think there's much for me to say on this one. I don't think I really need to drop the mic or really need to explain it much. Mac and cheese. If you buy a 89-cent box at your local Dollar Tree, or if you go all out and spend $50 on ingredients, to me, it's just going to be pretty much perfect. So
Yeah, cheese.
hey,
I love
you don't
cheese.
have to do much with the mac and cheese. Just put it in front of my face, and it will
Mm.
be gone. And I will gladly oblige and eat all of it. So mac and cheese, number 2 for me.
Yeah, can't disagree there. So my number 2, you mentioned it's not a very popular pick, but dressing / stuffing, I don't really know the difference. Is there a difference between the two? I know stuffing is like what they put in the turkey, and dressing is what you eat.
Yeah.
So technically what you're eating is dressing, but I grew up calling it stuffing. So yeah, I don't know. Stuffing, yeah, that's my number 2. I love it. Man, I think in terms of leftover quality, I think
Oh,
stuffing would be my number 1. I think you can't go wrong microwaving some stuffing and just eating that right out the little Tupperware container. It just can't go wrong. And you get at these other things where they're good on Thanksgiving Day, but when you reheat them, I mean, they're good, they're fine, but they're just not the same quality. I think stuffing might get better after a day in the
yeah.
fridge. Oh man, can't go
Agreed.
wrong there. So yeah, I mean, you said it. You said it. Dressing / stuffing is really good, and that's my number 2.
Yeah, unlike Tom Brady, the older stuffing gets, the better it gets. So, anyways, we'll go to number 1 here. My number 1 is delightful. Some people do not make it delightfully, but in the Deer household, my sweet grandma makes the best of this, and I don't think you can go wrong with a green bean casserole, man. Green bean casserole, so good, so good. There's so many different elements. It's so complex to make. You go through it all just to make this dang thing. Green bean casserole is so good, man. It's not even. Oh boy, yeah. You don't get me too hyped for vegetables, but once you throw that green beans in that casserole, that all that stuff just going in there, it's perfect. It's perfect. That is 100 out of 100 for me, but I'm curious to see what this number 1 pick for you is going to be. But
Yeah,
that's
definitely not green bean casserole. What the heck is that? You're telling me you'd rather have green. I'll just say my number 1. My number 1's mac and cheese. You're telling me you would rather have green bean casserole over mac and cheese? Are you kidding me? What kind of a take is that? You can put everything, you take the green beans out of the green bean casserole and you put mac and cheese in it instead. That's delightful. That is not, oh my gosh. I can't believe that. I don't even want to give my reasoning for mac and cheese anymore, just because I think it's just so head and shoulders above a casserole with green beans in it.
bro.
Mac and cheese is a staple, and it's also so good.
Hey man,
Green
green
bean.
bean.
You lost me at green. That's
You got so mad when I said corn casseroles my honorable mention. I was waiting for this one. You hate casseroles so much that
listen. I don't have a thing against casseroles. There's some good casseroles out there. There's breakfast casserole. There's even mac and cheese casserole. There you can make anything into a casserole. But once you start putting green beans in it, it ruins it. I don't get it.
oh,
Everyone likes green bean casserole
it's just
except for me.
it's just because I'm on a diet, man. That's what it is. I'm on a diet. So,
Pretty sure if you casserole anything, I don't think it's healthy anymore.
oh my goodness. Oh
Oh
boy, I
man.
can't believe
Mac and
the
cheese is my
audacity.
number 1. That's ridiculous.
Oh god.
Oh
Just
my
wait
God.
till we have to do Thanksgiving desserts.
Oh
And
man, there's so easily a number 1 for me on Thanksgiving desserts. I'm not gonna spoil it yet, but it's like number 1, everything else doesn't even matter. But
all right. All right.
let's get
Looking
into
forward
let's
to
get
it.
into what the podcast is about. Let's get into what this show is actually about.
Yeah.
So not a lot of stuff happening outside of football right now, but there is some awards and accolades that happened over the weekend and over last week. So Isaac's going to go run through that before we get into the gridiron.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, as you guys know, Seaman and Washburn Rural, Seaman for 5A, Washburn Rural for 6A, was in the state tournament last week, and some players earned some all-state tournament honors as they're a part of the teams for each 6A and 5A out of Salina. So 6A, Brooklyn DeLay, Jada Ingram, and Taylor Russell, all from Washburn Rural, made the Class 6A All-State Tournament team. No surprise there. Their performances were just terrific, and they were a huge reason why Washburn Rural was able to win that 8th state title in school history. And then for Seaman, 2 players made that list. Brooklyn Gormley and Megan Mills both made that list. Neither of them are seniors. Gormley's a junior and Megan Mills is a sophomore. They both had pretty outstanding years, and they were just so close to getting that state title. But as most of you know, Seaman has an extremely young team, so they should be back, and they'll have that core group back as well. So, congrats to those players for making the Kansas Volleyball Association All-State Tournament teams. It's pretty awesome. Applause for that. Okay, and then for all Mid-East League volleyball, that's where Rossville and Silver Lake and Rock Creek and St. Mary's and Riley County, et cetera, that's where they play. So on the first team for all Mid-East League, Alexis Burnt and Taylor Ross from Silver Lake made the list, and Brindley Deich and Kinsey Pirine also made first team. They are Rossville. So Burnt, Ross from Silver Lake, and then Pirine and Deich for Rossville on first team. Then second team, we have Leah Cook from Silver Lake and Kinley Porter from Rossville making that list. And then honorable mention, Sarah Werrell from Silver Lake made the list as well. So congrats on all league honors. That's pretty good stuff. And I know Silver Lake and Rossville were also really close. They had that extremely competitive sub-state slate down at Silver Lake, right? Man, that all rhymed. Extremely. What did I say that? Yeah, that's what I was going for. Extremely tough slate at sub-state down at Silver Lake before state.
There you go.
Yeah, but just what I'm doing here. That's yeah, but good for them. And then one more out of golf, we have all Centennial League golf list came out. First team from Washburn Rural, Avery Scott, Mallory Nelson made the list for first team, and Hannah Reynoldson from Hayden also made that first team list. And second team from Washburn Rural's Reagan Peterson and Natalie Peterson. No relation. Reagan Peterson's with an E at the end. Natalie's with an O. I had to relook. I really had to search that up because details. But Avery Grunner and Izzy Glotzback from Hayden also made that second team list. Newcomer of the year, Lauren Cox from Washburn Rural, and Coach of the Year, Rick Eckert from Emporia. So congrats to everybody on that. Yeah, that's really all I got for that. Not much going around. We'll get to some more accolades next episode. I know Rick's working on a cross-country list right now as we speak, and I'm sure there'll be more volleyball stuff to go along the way as well. So on that next episode, we'll getting a little more of that. And then I guess lastly, Washburn Rural dropped its state semifinal matchup to Mill Valley, losing 1-0. But congrats on a great season to Washburn Rural's boys soccer team. It was an insane run this year, and they definitely deserve to be in that top 4 in the state. So close, but they'll get them next year. I believe. I think that group is so good. I think they'll come back next year with a vengeance. But yeah, that's all I got, man.
Yeah, and then so perfect segue. You mentioned that a team's going to come back with vengeance. There is some teams that dropped their games this week and ended their season, but I fully expect them to come back with vengeance as well. So starting off in 5A, Shawnee Heights fell to powerhouse Mill Valley 24-0 to end their season. We said it last week. I mean, Mill Valley is a very tough squad, but if you think back to the beginning of the year when we were doing our review or preview, we were saying like we have no clue what the Shawnee Heights team is going to be just because they're so young. So they're only going to get better because they're so young. So seemingly it's only up from here. And a successful season nonetheless. I mean, losing to Mill Valley, you can't hang your head that much. Mill Valley's been top 3 program for a decade at this point. So Mill Valley's legit. Shawnee Heights is on their way though. They got some young guys that are going to come back and some really good players.
Yeah, I was really shocked how they kind of hung with the defending 5A state champions. It was 7-0 at halftime. Mill Valley only led 7-0 going into the half. So that defense, that trademark defense that they kind of earned this year, that they were able to label themselves, really showed out. I mean, the final score was 24-0, but that 7-0 for, was it the first 24 minutes? Is 12-minute quarters, first 24 minutes was extremely impressive. I was a little surprised, but at the same time, I wasn't, because I feel like Shawnee Heights has one of the better defenses in the entire state. So that was pretty cool to see. Yeah, Mill Valley got another. They collected another soul. Shawnee Heights is not alone. Mill Valley, like you said, has been on this tear for quite a while, and I'm looking forward to see what this young group can bring back next year. You know, when you think about Alan Bowman, where that came out of nowhere. That guy came out of nowhere. He hardly touched the ball last year, and I think he's well over 1,400 yards on the ground this year. It's like, cool.
Yeah.
I didn't even hear about this kid coming, so I'm just like, oh, now that everybody knows what he can do, he's only going to grow his game. He's only going to get better. That offensive line's only going to get better. It's just a really young group that they have over at Shawnee Heights. So yeah, bring on 2023 for Jason Swift. I think that team can make a really good run next year, especially in the UKC conference. It's going to loosen guys and on other teams. You think about DeSoto and Seaman and some other teams, it's like they're going to lose some guys. So Shawnee Heights, this is kind of their opportunity next year for that growth this year that they had to kind of move it forward and keep that needle moving for them.
Yeah, 100%. So next, the last team that lost is 2A Rossville. Comes up short of repeating as back-to-back state champs, I believe, is what they were. Were they 3 straight or were they 2 straight? They've won state
3,
champs.
I think
Yeah.
3. Yeah.
I think they won. Yeah.
They've won so much over the last few.
Right.
I think 3. Yeah. I think I don't have it in front of me, but I'm assuming it's probably 2 or 3. Sorry if I'm wrong on that, but you guys just win so dang much. We don't know it right now.
Yeah, but no, they fell short. They fell to top ranked Nemaha Central in a season that didn't really feel up to par. I mean, with Rossville standards, I mean, Rossville, as we said, just wins so much. You just expect winning all the time. Had a little bit of a rough start, picked it up towards the end of the year, but then ultimately fell short in the playoffs. But it's a younger team than the Dogs are used to, so they're going to return some guys too, and I'm sure they're going to be right back. They're going to be right back in contention next year, and they're going to be fine. Just a little bump in the road for a really, really, really good Rossville football program that I think is going to continue to be very, very good.
Yeah, it's been a while since they've had a first-year starting quarterback. Usually they've had that system for a while. Torrey Horak was in control for a while before he graduated, went to University of Central Missouri. It's Camden Horak's team this year, and usually there's leadership all around the place, but it's just a young team, as you said. Kind of like with Shawnee Heights, it's like we kind of expected these kind of years in a way. Like there's going to be some struggles. You're going to stumble a little bit along the way. But yeah, no, it was. I think Nemaha Central's. Personally, I think they're going to win the state championship this year. I just think that team is just loaded with talent. Up and down, you look at Nemaha Central's roster, it's like I don't think anybody can beat them this year. I think they're undefeated for a reason. I think they're going to stay that way. Rossville just ran into a really, really good Nemaha team. Like I mentioned, I think he's going to win it all. But props to finishing out strong. You think about they're under 500. It's like, oh, are you going to win these next 2 games to at least even it out, not have a losing record? They did that. And then they won a playoff game. That was pretty awesome. And then, they just fell short. But I don't think it was necessarily a down year. It could have been way worse for them if you think about it. But great way to finish off your season. I know the loss was tough overall, but the overall message of it was great. Yeah, I mean, you won games. That's the tradition in Rossville, is just winning games. They just fell short of their state aspirations this year.
Yeah, 100%. So now moving on to a bit of a more positive outlook on things. We had some teams move on as well. Going back up, going backwards with the way we came, going up to 3A. Hayden is still alive after an absolute thriller of a game against Wellsville, where the Wildcats came out on top 22-19. It was an absolute swamp, is what I've been told. Just horrible conditions to play on, wet, slimy, just slipping around everywhere. Finn Dunchie, I know, had a kick return touchdown. But they're gonna have a tough matchup. They're gonna have a Columbus team that's always really good next week. With a berth in the semis on the horizon, possibly. Maybe they get that rematch with Holton. I know they don't want to eye that yet, but I know if they do get there, they're going to be hungry for that one. So, but they have to win next week, and I think they can. I think Hayden's playing as well as anyone right now, and they can beat anyone. So, looking forward to it.
Yeah, that was a huge win. As we talked about last episode, Wellsville didn't lose a game all year, and they were just dominating every single team. Think about on the road, not in your house, horrible conditions, true football weather, where the rain is pouring. You're on a all natural grass field. There's holes. You're slipping. You're sliding. Everything's just going wrong. It's just like who's going to stay balanced the most? Who's going to run the ball better? And at the end of the day, Hayden did that. So that was a truly impressive win. I think that was definitely one of the wins that they'll look back on. Like this is a program defining win. Because you think about how tough Wellsville is. Wellsville's always tough every single year, but this year in particular, this was the team. Um, you think about Holton and Wellsville and those teams and Andale. It's like those are the teams, and so that was really cool of Hayden to win the way they did, go on the road in Wellsville's house and keep their hopes alive. And like you said, Columbus is tough. Columbus is really tough. They're part of that group too. And I'm not sure. I don't have the bracket in front of me. I think it's on the road. I think
I
Columbus was
believe so. I believe
yeah.
so.
I think Columbus was higher in their district, so I think Hayden's going to have to hit the road again for that. But yeah, no, I was really pleased with the outcome for the Wildcats, and that was a really, like I said, impressive win. I'm going to keep echoing that statement because there's nothing else to say
Mhm.
about it. It's just Bill Arnold and his crew look ready to go. I think they, like you said, don't look too much forward, but Holton could be on the way for sure.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to that rematch if it happens. If it happens, don't look too far forward. But rounding it out with the teams that won, Washburn Rural, who we've been talking about all year, is very talented. They had a huge win over Garden City, where actually, surprisingly, our guy Ty Weber actually caught a touchdown pass, even though he's usually on the other side of the ball. So, congrats to him. But 34-7 over Garden City, a talented Garden City team, especially what was it, 300 miles away, four
Yeah.
hour drive. It was tough atmosphere to drive into, I'm sure. So, but I mean, they're not going to have it easy. They're going to Derby next week to play Notre Dame commit Dylan Edwards and crew. So that's going to be a tough game, but I think that's going to be an exciting game. And I wish it was at Washburn Rural because there was no doubt that I would do everything in my power to go to that game just because it's going to be a great atmosphere and it's going to be so fun to watch. And with state semifinals on the way, or semifinal berth to the winner, it's the atmosphere is going to be legit, and there's going to be a lot of talent on that field, and it's going to go back and forth, and it's going to be such a good game. I can't wait to see the final score.
Yeah, a lot of definitely Division 1 caliber players on that field. You think Dylan Edwards is one of the best running backs in the nation, and obviously that's going to be one big challenge for you already. But the win that they had last week, you travel 4 hours and 45 minutes, same conditions here as it was out west. It's freezing cold, the rain, high winds. You had to sit on a bus forever. Uh, it's intimidating for sure, especially being the road team. And usually professionals, they know how to go about their business and stuff like that. But high school kids, it's a little difficult. But they haven't had a road trip like that all year long. So the way that they're able to win against a really good red hot team with the conditions, with everything going against them, that should tell you that Derby shouldn't take them lightly, especially with the way that they've been playing the last 4 or 5 weeks. They've been playing
Mhm.
super, super good football. So I think Washburn Rural actually might be the team to beat. Derby will be, like you said, extremely tough. Derby is one of those traditional powerhouses. Got an explosive offense. I think the best running back in the state, and then you got one of the best offenses around. So I think the Washburn Royals definitely got their work cut out for them. They're going to need to force some turnovers early. They're going to have to look at that Manhattan tape when Manhattan beat Derby. What did they do? Um, what made them stand out, and what helped them beat? Because Derby hasn't lost very much this year. That you think they've lost to Manhattan and Mays. I think that's it. So I could be
Yeah,
wrong on that. No, they kept it
I think
close.
so.
Yeah, I think they kept it close with Hutchison, but just trust your game. Obviously, whatever's been working the last month has been great, and I think that defense is going to give Derby a run for their money. That Washburn Rural defense is definitely going to give Derby some problems, and I think Derby's offense is going to give Washburn Rural some problems, and I think it flip flop too. I think those are two really good teams going at it, and I'm looking forward to seeing that game. I wish I was going to that one too, but that should be fun. I'm looking for. This is what it's all about: is facing the best of the best. This time of year, there's nothing really holding anybody back now. It's um, you're not facing any bad teams or anything else. It's just one versus one. And I
Right.
think Washburn Roll and Derby is the perfect setup for what kind of season this has been.
Yeah, there's going to be a ton of talent on that field. I'm so excited. I just can't wait to see the end of it. I mean, I just want to see highlights and everything. Just super excited. It's just playoff football. I'm a football guy. I'm a football guy, and that's all it boils down to is just love watching football and love watching good football. So definitely grateful for all the football that I've been able to watch this year. Been some really good football. So yeah, that's all we got. We will be back next week with another episode of Top Sports Talk. Once again, always remember to like the video, subscribe, click the bell, and make fun of Isaac for liking green bean casserole. So, Isaac,
Yes, sir.
got anything else?
Go get your Christmas decorations set up. Go do it. Go box up all your Halloween stuff. Throw the tree out in the living room. Just get it done. Um, go Chiefs. That's all I have to say.
I'm going to cut that part out.
Nah.
We will see you guys next week.